training center. We provide daily hacks, all and everything about well-being. We mainly speak about well-being issues and its solutions, and how you can use well-being on daily basis to achieve what you like to do or to achieve your desires. Hello. Hello, Hannah Pinto. Thank you for watching. Um, and we are proud to create community awareness as well. This is one of our main tasks. As you know me, or if you don't know me already, I'm Grace Espinosa from the Wellbeing Training Center. Hello, hello. How are you from Tanzania? High five, I guess. It's very nice to have people that can see you all over the world. That's very nice. Well, I'm very happy to be here. We have got another episode, and this one is going to be a little bit chili con carne. It's going to be spicy, but I believe it's going to be very useful in the end. So today I have decided to talk about coercion and how to stop it, because I believe this is a problem globally, but in this case, well, I will be talking in general and concentrating in the UK, because this is where I live, and this is where I can see that it's happening on daily basis, and it's happening across many sectors and many areas and many communities, and we will be talking about that as much as we can, because it's a really broad subject, and this subject needs to be spoken openly, and people need to understand what is coercion, or what is force, or what is manipulation, and how it does affect you. It does affect you on your personal life, work life, family life. It does affect you in many ways. So I'm happy to be here in my happy space, the Wellbeing 365 Training Center. But before we get into the topic, let's talk about how good you are doing this week, how well you have been doing. I don't know where you are, but you can tell me where you are, what you do, and how has been your week. Has it been a pleasant week? Has it been a difficult week? How is the weather where you are at the moment? Well, from my point of view, I think this has been a very good week. I think a lot of people are having positive thoughts, and they are getting a little bit more into the happy zone. More people are, and I get happy to see this, to be honest. I get very happy when more people are sharing time with their kids, teaching them how to do outdoor activities, having walks, having lunch in the parks, because the weather it's improving. The weather is getting nicer. It's more variable to be outside. More people are out and about walking with no limitation. Hello, Ian Salman from Hanforth. More people are enjoying outdoors, basically more running, more jogging, more biking, walking the dog, sitting outside on the benches, getting a little bit of vitamin D. That's fantastic. It's very good. Doesn't matter what age you are or where do you live, is absolutely essential to get your doses of vitamin D. And that's wonderful. Elderly people living more outdoors times, that's fantastic. And hopefully people will be in this situation again, where they are not allowed to be outside, or they are not allowed to practice healthy activities. Hello, Ivan. This is a very old friend from my own country, so it's nice to see you here. Uh, this is a very good platform, to be honest, that I found. I'm not going to advertise it, but it's good. If you need to know which one, just let me know. Um, and I'm really hoping that this doesn't happen again. And the power is with you, with the people. The power is not where with the government, because basically they just are there just to sort of dictate what is good and what is wrong, when really you should be dictating what is good and what is wrong in your own life. Because being outdoors, doing activities, doing swimming, we never should be allowing this to happen ever again. Closing and shutting all the really important activities, which is healthy swimming. A lot of people have missed out on their swimming routines, and I know for many it's not important, but when you are a certain age, when you have got certain health conditions, swimming is a saving aid, basically. And and I'm very glad. I'm very looking forward for swimming pools to be open again, and for health centers to be open again, gym centers. I'm absolutely looking forward to that. I'm actually doing my own counting down when it does happen. And believe me, it never should have happened. Schools never should have been closed either. So everything else, perhaps we could have been, trying to find a balance and compromising. But there are certain things that we need to not compromise on. So let's get there. Let's get in the happy time, in the happy mood. Let's start enjoying outdoors. Let's start practicing well-being, and let's try to become well-being practitioners, where we don't need to be always doing the same activities, where we can sort of split our day and we can take 30 minutes. That's all that it takes to do exercise, to actually connect with yourself, to connect with your well-being, which is your internal system. um, and you know that we all actually enjoy that, and many people will live long time, as long as they look after themselves, as long as they take care of their well-being. If I remember, until not long ago, the NHS has spent millions and millions in healthy campaigns, and the campaign was do exercise. Do exercise. You can prevent a lot of diseases and a lot of conditions that you could actually get worse with exercise if you do your daily walk. It's not about healthy lifestyle. It's a 50-50. It's 50 what you eat, but it's also 50 how you engage in your body. And I know many of us don't have time to sort of train and to do walking or to do exercise, but we always can find time. That's not an acceptable excuse. A lot of people tell me thousands of excuses why they cannot do exercise. Well, I would like to see the opposite. I would like to tell me thousands of excuses why you're going to do exercise, and that will be giving you and providing you better results. Um, we never, ever, ever should have closed down healthy places, because health centers is what is going to keep the country going. Is what it keep you going. Is what it keep you motivated, and that should have been dealt in a different way. But anyway, and rather than doing what they preach, because basically the NHS have invested thousands and thousands and thousands of billions in campaigns, in guidelines, in websites, uh, promoting exercise, healthy lifestyle, and healthy eating. So it doesn't make sense, does it? That suddenly everything shut down completely, collapsed, and nothing else happened. And what is the consequence of that? That a lot of people have eaten more because of being at home all the time, especially kids and children, teenagers, they have ate a lot. And a lot of people have drunk a lot. So now we have got another problem, which is obesity, and the obesity in children have increased a large percentage, and in teenagers as well. So it's now we need to tackle that. Now we need to actually engage everybody again, do more campaigns, do more activities, and trying to, save those kids from further diseases, heart conditions, and all the consequence of being inactive. So happy schools. For example, the schools where my kids go, they are now running again, engaging in exercise, doing activities, and that is what the children need. They need that. So, in the other hand, dog owners, we always took our kids out, our children, our dogs out for a walk, but what, we forgot to take our kids out for a walk as well. So we need to actually engage the kids, we need to do more activity, and we should not allow this to ever happen again. So I'm here and listening to your questions if you have got more questions. So remember that the topic of today is avoiding or stopping forced coercion or manipulation. Okay, but before that, I'm giving you a few headlines, and the headlines is let's get the healthy conditions back. So we should, just keep going, progressing, do exercise. We should never allow people that actually are not well-being practitioners, people that are all dinosaurs, that they sit on a chair and they drink and they eat as much as they can with your taxes to decide whether you can actually be outdoors or not, or whether you are allowed to do exercise or not. We never should allow those people that sit on the house, on the lot of houses, and they decide things for others when they actually are not practitioners, because then that goes against, any rules or regulation, because you shouldn't be allowed to choose things like that if you are not actual practitioner. And I believe they don't do exercise. So there you are. Something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. Let's talk about another headline. Is the care assistance and the care system and the health system. It's all to do with the health. It's all to do with we need to do something about together. And it's just sad. It's really sad, the care assistance situation across the country and across agencies, different agencies. These people save daily basis. They are the real heroes, and they actually do the job for nearly for free, basically for free. They do their jobs. They are category. They don't fit into bands, so they don't get that benefit that like you will get a nurse or a doctor. They don't get recognition as well. They actually get a lot of aggressive, and they get a lot of mistreatment. That's what they get. And I've been in that situation internally, so I know what I'm talking about. And I do campaign for them a lot, because they deserve, first of all, the recognition, but they just not recognition. They deserve to be in the same position as, for example, as a nurse. Obviously, they have got less responsibilities, but they still do huge amount of work for the communities. They do it out of their heart and out of the good. Um, and they should be getting a lot of recognition because these people save billions and billions of money to the institution, to the NHS, on hospital bills, because basically they look after the people that needs to stay at home or people that can remain at home rather than being in an institution, rather than being in hospitals. They work with dignity. The regulations are really, really high for the carers. It's not maybe what people think like in the old days. All that have changed, and now the carers have to be really, really regulated, and they just have to do their daily job, plus they have to do thousands and amount of reports, which is, I don't see what is the point. But anyway, so we need to actually think about this. Well-being is everything. Well-being is the system, is how we create a happy living and a healthy living. So we need to tackle what is stopping that happening. What is stopping the vast majority to live a happy life, to be happy with the community, to have good health condition? What is stopping that? And there are many factors, many. It's not just this or that. It's an accumulation of factors that are stopping the communities to live in happy environments. But let's start with this one. Anyway, this is the headlines of the day. And you should be taking consideration, and you should be participating, and you should be caring for your local community, caring assistance. You should. So it's not fair, the decisions that are made in a bigger scale, in a higher scales. They are not fair because they save huge amount of money by having care assistants, by paying them really, really low salary. Even a cleaner gets more per hour than a care assistant. And if they are community care assistants, they have to drive, and they tend to pay for their own petrol. They tend to pay for their own expenses. So by the time you count all the expenses that they have in order to provide welfare for the community, there is nothing. There is peanuts. So that's why the NHS is always looking for people. That's why they are low staff, because they don't take care of their own people. And there is something I'm talking about, not the NHS in somebody or someone in particular, talking about the institution, because it's a very large institution that it has a lot of power and a lot of division. So what is the point to save on the resources, the human resources? What is the point to save on the people that is needed the most to do the job? And then what do they do with the money that they save? Is that what they use to sort of shift it away, to buy and engage goods from China? Because apparently everything nowadays that the NHS buy is made from China. So what is that? Somebody needs to clarify this, because there are many open questions that need to be answered. In the meantime, they are the most affected. They were working through the whole pandemic, maybe with very, very few PPE kits. They made, and I did this job myself, so I know exactly how is the job like. I know how you have to always be on duty, always on duty. Doesn't matter if it's raining, if it's snowing, if you are sad, if you are happy, doesn't matter. If it's a bank holiday, doesn't matter. You're always on duty. So why these people don't deserve the respect, and why they don't deserve that we demonstrate and show them that they are important for the community, that they are important for the system, and they are part of the system. And it does break my heart, and it does make me very, very disappointed about how we're treating the people that is necessary, because many people maybe don't know what the job they do. Maybe that's why they don't care. but they could be doing all several type of jobs. They could be doing shopping, they could be providing medication, they could be doing hygiene on daily basis, they could be ironing, cooking, providing foods, they could be all sort of things. They also deal with complex users that have got complexity, that have got immobility, that I cannot move to one place to another place. They deal with all the grandpas and grandmoms that are all left by themselves at home, or they decide to live independently and they don't want to go into care homes. They deal also with, as I say, complex things. They could deal with children, they could deal with adults, they deal with a lot of complex users, basically. So it's really we must to do something about. So on the other hand, the heatings are, everything is getting heat up and hot and all that. And the subject of the day is not accepting coercion practices. And in a minute, I'm going to get into the subject, but let's finish this one, which is down in my interest. I'm really interested in this subject because these people needs something needs to happen. We need to deal with a care system. We need to deal with the care homes. We need to deal with the care agencies. We need to increase the budgets, basically. I know not everything is money, and I don't really participate so much in when the subject is about money. But in this case, it's absolutely essential and necessary. So I don't understand, me as a resident of my community, I don't understand where this amount of council taxes and where all the money go. I would love to start listening and participating in this type of conversations, because I need to know where all that money goes and what do they do with the money. Because every day they increase the taxes, they increase the council tax every year, and the people that are supposed to be getting the benefit are not getting the benefit. So what is happening? And this is the type of questions that you should be asking yourself. Where is the money? What is happening? Don't think that you are powerless. Don't think that you are that powerless. They will try to use manipulative language, so you can forget about the real subjects, and these are the real subjects. If we talk a lot about community, then we need to understand how the community works, what are the essential and the frontliners in a community. We should be protecting as a community. And I know I want to make another episode in community, and this is not the right episode to talk about, but I'm just leaving there open question for you. And it's well-being is about getting in contact with yourself, understanding things, understanding your environment, because in order to succeed in your own journey, you need to actually understand what is happening around you. You need to be aware. You need to open your eyes. You need to start getting involved with your community, basically getting involved. And it's not just getting involved, it's engaging, it's having a voice. That's why we protect and we campaign a lot for freedom of speech, because these subjects needs to be talked, or we need to talk about these subjects on daily basis. And believe me, once we all get engaged, nothing like this will happen again. A lot of people campaign about, let's save the NHS. Yes, let's save it, but how do we save it? You need to ask yourself, what is my participation? Because you need to be engaged, you need to participate. And it's not just about voting. This is not a political contender. This is not a political, this is about creating awareness, consciousness. And I cannot tell you who you are going to vote for. because then that will be forcing and manipulating your views. But I actually can tell you that something needs to be done, and the type of question that you should be asking for, because it's not fair that every year more budgets are cut down, more budgets are cutting down, and more taxes has been raised up. So where is the money? Where does it go? Me, as a business owner, I always scrutinize everything. I always measure every single penny. Where does it go? What is it used for? What is this? What is that? And we actually do that. Everybody do that. If you are a parent, you have to manage your budget, and you have to understand how money works. If you are a student as well, if you are a teenager as well. And this is part of the education. This is education. You need to manage budgets. You need to understand what is priority and what is not. And where do you put your money? Or where do you invest your money? Or what do you do with your money? So it's not different in that level. It's not different. For example, I give you an example. If we work, or we work in small levels, we always when you work in small levels like councils and all that, local governments or small governments, school governance or whatever, or clubs governments, small. Uh, we all have people that participate. Let's put in this example, swimming club, a swimming club. So everybody pays towards something, and then the money should be used towards something else in benefit of the swimmers. So in that case, we need to know what money gets in, what money gets out, how it's used, how it's invested. We need to go through committees. We need to be participating in certain things. So why in a bigger scale, which is governments and big, why can we not do the same? Why can we not understand how they use each penny? What do they recycle? How do they use it? Basically like that. And that what I'm very curious about. Absolutely curious, and I want to actually see the results, and I want to see what is happening. And who makes those decisions? Who makes the decision where the money goes, where the money gets invested, where the money is, where the money is at? And that is where you should be participating. This is not about politics. People think, oh, I don't talk about politics. I don't get engaged in politics. Because that's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that politics brings conflict and politics bring you enemies, because you get too passionate about defending someone or some party, when in reality politics is to do with your community, is to do with who is going to be the leader of your community and what decisions they are going to be taking. So you need to actually step forward and understand. You need to teach your kids how to look after their own, how to look after their communities, how to participate in this type of conversation. It's very good to be watching YouTube videos about people that we don't know and we never will get to know anyway. When we do forget about the people that we actually know, and the things that we do know, that because of this mismanagement gets all put into bed, or it gets all sweeping under the carpet and all that. So it's really essential to change that mindset, and that's what we sort of promote in well-being training center. We promote that you take a different approach, that we create awareness. We help you to create that, to step forward, to jump the fence and jump the bridge and see exactly what is important, and participate. You need to participate in your local community, because this guarantee that this narrative and this situation, it never happen again. And this guarantee that your community works in the best possible way, and it brings benefits for everybody, not just for one person or one sector. It brings benefit for everybody. Sometimes you don't know who is behind doing all the making these decisions, because one thing what we see on the screen, and one thing is what it happens. I mean, government and governance is a really, really complex subject. It's so many levels and so many departments that you never will get to know exactly who is making the decision. But I have got a pretty good idea. You want to hear it? I think it's a bunch of old dinosaurs with a big belly because they drink, they smoke, and they eat with all your taxes. And they never will come forward. We don't know who they are, what they do. They just sit there. They never ever have visit your neighborhood, or they never have spoken to anyone in your neighborhood. So it's a very sealed, it's absolutely sealed system, and that system needs to be broken. And it only could happen with your participation, really. It's not going to happen with any other participation, only yours. Um, And if you are not interested in to be part of these conversations and to be participating, it doesn't matter what age you are. I believe kids needs to start, even getting awareness of what is right and what is wrong. What is their entitlement? What is their birthright? Your birthright is to have a decent environment, is to be able to, nobody is going to come and save your life. Nobody should be able to feed you every day on the mouth, but you need to actually have a safe environment, to have some safety. You will need to feel safe in your own community. So that will encourage more people to feel safe as well, and it will bring positive attitude in everybody. And once people feel that positive attitude and they feel motivated, they want to do more and more and more. At the minute, the way it is that everybody is wearing masks, but they probably have been wearing masks for centuries now. So it's time to remove that mask, and it's time to, come forward, and it's time to empower your humanity. I always talk about humanity because that's the only connective point that we all have. I mean, we all sound different, we all think different, we all look different, we all come from different places, but we have got one thing in common, and that is humanity. And that's why I keep mentioning humanity, because that's what we have in common. So we need to actually expand, and we need to think in humanity. That's the main thing. I know we love to, as a human, we love to categorize, and we love to downsize, and we love to join groups. But really, we always should be having a higher thought and thinking about humanity, because that's what you are. So remember, if you have got questions, if you have got doubts, if you have got complaints, just put it on the chat box or send me your emails. And if I can, I will be replying those. So I don't want you to be part of the problem. I want you to be part of the solution. That's what I want you to be part. I want you to talk about these situations. I want you to participate. I want you to find help, to find people that is doing something already, and they will be welcome you with open arms. So it's important not to remain silent about what is happening, about the issues, about what we see. It's not, to me, insults my dignity. It does insult it in a big way. So you need to think about, we need to start scrutinizing governance and governments. We need to scrutinize, we need to ask for, disclosure, and we need to if they decide to put rules and laws, then we have got our rights and entitlements as well. If somebody decide to increase your taxes and to increase your council tax and your daily bills and to reduce your payment, then you need to understand why are they doing that. Why? That will be the first thing that I will ask. Well, show me in detail where is the money going, what you're doing with the money, because there is a lot of back and forward. There are a lot of evidence saying that the money is not being used rightly. The money has been used wrongly, and the money being used in their own interest, not in the benefits of the country or the benefits of the collective. And the money and travels and move everywhere, every direction. So it's important to start asking, and they need to start justifying, and that's what is important. That's what we should be doing. So today, we are talking about coercive tactics, and it's an interesting subject, and it's a very sad subject because this is what it happens every single day in somebody's life, in one way in another way. So that's why I'm talking about coercion. What is coercion? It's a form of a way of force or manipulation, right? When somebody forces you to do something that you don't want to, that's called coercion. Or someone manipulates you to do that, or someone forces you to do that, that's called coercion. And it's sad because this type of mentality, this type of operation, this type of acting, it's a problem that we have nowadays in society. It's not nowadays, sorry. This has been going on for maybe as long as we know about humanity. This is man's power, who can, this is all about power. Coercion is about power. And, we are from the kingdom of animals, so we tend to, play the power game. But in a better world, in a better situation, in an ideal world, we want to be respected as a human beings, as a person. We want to be individuals. And I believe in the British values. I always talk about that because that's what I have been learning, and that's what I have learned. And that's how the system is run on my levels. And we are very strong about individuality and respecting individuals. And the laws speak about that. So then, on the other hand, we have got all this going in parallel at the same time. So it could be very confusing to talk about coercion, because it does go against the acts and the laws, the equality laws, the individual laws, the human right laws. So it goes against. And the funny thing is that these coercion practices are found on institutions, and they are found on governance and governments as well. So something needs to be done, and once you understand what it is, how they do it, why they do it, we don't know why they do it. They probably have got their own reasons for. Then you maybe will have more knowledge, because what happens is that not many people get the same message, the same education, or not many people understand it on the same way. So sometimes when you are at school and they are teaching you about your rights and this and that, you are just thinking about, what time do I finish? What time do I go home? That's normal. But then, for not knowing or not paying attention to what is important, that's why we have got many cases that I'm going to talk about. And I'm going to give you examples as well, so you have a better idea of what it is and how it's done, and how it works, and mainly how those affect you. So type of coercions, what these actions may include extortion. You know what is extortion? When someone is trying to blackmail you, For example, it happens a lot with teenagers, and it's happening a lot. And it's not just in the UK. This is many places that it is happening, and it has been happening. So people, group teenagers asking each other to do something that you don't want to do, to expose your body in camera or to do certain things, and without you wanting to do it. And then they use some tactics and some techniques to manipulate you and to blackmail you. And that's a type of coercion. Also, people that suffer from torture, we know that torture can be mental torture or can be physical torture. That's a coercion as well. If you've been suffering from torture and somebody has been, kidnapping you and keeping you away from whatever your family, whatever place you believe you belong to, um, you are victim of physical aggressiveness, physical aggressions, and then you've been coerced, and you are a victim of that. Um, Sexual assaults, we lately has been hearing a lot about it, and it's very important because many kids get sexual assaulted, many women, many young women, many men as well. And it's just devastating, isn't it, that someone cannot respect your body and cannot respect your individuality and cannot respect who you are. Doesn't matter if you are this age or that age, you deserve that. That's your birthright, and that's what it should be taught in a family, in a community, in a school. That's how we will stop a lot of abuse. And the abuse sometimes is physical, which is sexual, but sometimes the words of abuse, sometimes, I mean, I'm not saying the other one is not bad, but along with that, it goes as well the mental abuse, because they make you feel like if you are absolutely nothing, or they make you feel like if you have done something wrong when you haven't, when you are the victim. And these are damages that it lasts a long time. These are damages that it takes a lifetime to recover, and sometimes you cannot recover. And this is how the pain go through generation through generation through generation. It's people trying to violate your free will as well. I'm a firmly believe on free will, and I know we do have got responsibilities, but we also have got rights, and they do go in parallel. And all this is time that we start talking about and we stop this, because it's happening, it's still happening, and it still will be happening. And it's not just we believe that it only happens in undeveloping countries, but it happens on developed countries as well. That's why I'm talking about this. So, example of coercions, I already said blackmailing is a type of coercion. People that make you do things that you don't want to do. You absolutely don't want to do that, but they manipulate you, they force you to do it. And that's no good, is it? That's very bad. It's really bad. So they use tactics like they create feelings of guilt, they make you feel guilty, they make you feel obligated. And this happens to a lot of women, a lot of men as well. And in general, it just happens in the society in many levels. It happens people that abusing power or control. Um, it constantly happening. It could happen in the schools. People that think that they have got more power of you, or they have got entitlement of you, and they want to make you do things that you don't want to do. but they find a way of making you do things. Example, they make you smoke when you know that smoke is dangerous and you don't want to sort of get into the habit, because it's also a bad habit to have. It's expensive habit. It makes your teeth yellow. It makes you smell bad. So and it's a bad habit. Or drugs abuse, that's a worse habit. I'm not judging here, but that's a bad habit. And a lot of people that it's in abuse of power, people that keeps trying to control others and make them the same as them. Those all those sort of things like that, young teenagers that are part of gangs or part of bad stuff or part of because somebody else insists and blackmail you, or I know this shouldn't be happening in the era that we live now, in the era of technology, in the era that we supposed to be advanced, but we are not. There are a lot of people out there that doesn't know what it means this, and this is why we need to share this content. We need to start talking about this information. We need to evolve, basically. And the only way to actually avoid this is to talk about it. And that's why we promote this type of talking in Wellbeing 365 training center and the well-being, because it's creating awareness, but a part of that is doing something, is taking an action. So marital coercion, it happens a lot when you are in a relationship and the other person have got this sense of entitlement, or a narcissist is a better way to describe it, and they make you do things that you don't want to do. They manipulate you with your children, they manipulate you financially, they abuse you in many ways. And it's when you are in a relationship, they make you feel guilty, they make you feel you don't love them, they threaten you to take your children away. There are a lot of victims. And what do you think is going to be the result in this? How do you think those children will grow up? They will be growing up with fear, anger, fear that will turn into anger that will be uncontrollable. And it will be a huge damage for other people, for others. So basically, that's what happened. Group coercions, parental coercions, believe or not, a lot of I'm a parent, and sometimes you fall into this category. It's well, as a parent, you have to be, you are on the borderline. You have to educate. You are a guide to your kids, but so many parents, they coerce the kids to do something that they don't want to do. Like, well, I want you to be a doctor, and you have to be a doctor. Otherwise, we won't be talking to you anymore. So that's a way of manipulation, going against your free will, going against your what you want. And this is only an example. There will be worse examples out there. Friends coercion. You have got that best friend that if you don't do something that they want you to do, they won't talk to you anymore. Well, just tell them FFF and find another friend. That's what I did in my time, and that's what I still do. If I see that people come with those intentions, they just get FFF. Actually, they just get to be ignored, basically. And that's a very interesting subject to talk about later on, how we get influenced and manipulated through friends, and how we actually could ruin our life and our futures. And this is a type of coercion as well. Work coercion, it does happen a lot. Well, if you don't do this, you get sacked, or if you don't do that, you get sacked, or if you do this, you get sacked. Business coercion, this is happening every day. Every day I read it online. Every day I see a lot of people practicing this. Actually, the other day I was complaining on Facebook about this type of airline telling you that you cannot actually fly if you don't have this type of vaccine certificate, or you won't be able to get into this or get into that. What do you think is that? That's the worst form of coercion. That's torture. That's, well, if you don't do this, if you don't comply with this, you are not able to enjoy that. And that is a type of coercion. So do you accept that, or do you do something about it? It's just horrible. There is no much difference between that and when we feel sorry for domestic abuse. Women and men that are suffering from domestic abuse, they get to be threatened like that. They get to be threatened like that. Like, well, if you don't do this, or if you don't provide this, or if you don't say this, then I take your things away, or we broke, or whatever. So it's exactly the same form. And this is where I don't understand how people have got so little understanding of self-worth that they accept this type of situation. And it's not a different when your government tells you that you have to do this in order to do that, and overruling and overstepping acts and regulations that they already have created and they already has been created, like human rights or um, discrimination acts. Then it's the same. I feel it's exactly the same. So they are telling you you need to jump out of the cliff because we want you to. So how would you feel if that direct? Because it's collective, everybody accepts it and everybody thinks it's the best thing. But if you actually analyze and put it in the same category of the real of what is happening out there that everybody is raging about with all the entitlement, we rage about women that get killed because they walk by themselves, because this is a type of abuse as well. Yeah, this shouldn't be happening. So we get rage of children that get abused and raped and all that. We get rage for many subjects, but then in the bigger hand, we are allowing all this to happen. So how can we start fixing all these problems when the people that is entitled to make the decisions and to look after you and to look after yourself and to be on duty, they are not doing it. They are not doing it. And they basically are just manipulating you and using their power. They are abusing the power because they are going against the law in secret. Because when they have their meetings, and they decide this and that without consensus or without participation of the public, then that's a type of abuse, that's a type of force, that's a type of manipulation. When they go against all your human rights, you cannot have a right of speech, you cannot protest, you cannot do public protests, you cannot do nothing because they use the force in the wrong way. So what is that? That's a domestic abuse, believe or not. That's absolutely domestic abuse. And in this case, the perpetrator is the government. And in this case, we all the victims. So this is a mass murder, mass abuse. And do they get paid? Do they pay for that? They don't, because you decide not to do something about it. You decide not to participate. You decide not to vote. You decide to ignore, or because simple you don't understand what is going on. Because you see it in a bigger level, you see it in a bigger scale. You see, like, if you are too insignificant to make a difference, but actually you are not. If we all understand what is well-being, what is community, what is our rights, what is our human rights, and what are our responsibilities, we will have a better world for everybody. Because what is the point, as I keep saying, to live in a nice house? I put you this example. What is the point to live in a very nice house, 3 million house, when you step outside your door is full of rubbish, dirt, muck, the streets have got holes. What is the point of that? I don't see what is the point of that. If I live in a very expensive house, then I want to see my outside that match my reality. That's what I like. And that's what you should like as well. So you have comments, opinions, complaints, suggestions. This is a free word only because people like you and me, because obviously the people that watch me is people that think like me, uh, because we try every day to do something and to make a positive impact. And we cannot give up. We cannot. We may get tired, but we cannot give up because um, only people that give up, they want you to actually give up. They want you to give up, so they have got more entitlement and they have got more possibilities to do more things against your will. And I hope you did enjoy this subject, and the next well-being hack, it will be advertised very soon. You always can watch the replays. You always can watch this replay and replay and replay until you understand, until you learn it, until you become a well-being practitioner, and you always can share it with people that it's out there and it's needed to hear all this. It's needing to hear what is the reality and what is really happening, and how you can actually empower yourself and empower your family and empower eventually your community. Okay, so have a fantastic evening and I see you soon. Bye.